is really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Welcome. On the show today, we're talking more motivation. And my guest on the show today, I first met on social media. That's one of the advantages of the World Wide Web and all this tweeting and passing off of information on all the platforms that exist on our handheld. And for those of you who don't know, you can afford to watch this show. If you're watching right now on channels on DSTV, you can watch it on terrestrial, and you can also watch it on channels 24 Sky UK. So there's a lot of opportunity if you missed this edition. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to the show. But if you're one of those that loves to eat Moin Moin, I'll be telling you the story of a woman who has used Moin Moin to walk all the way to State House. Some of you may already know about her, but we'll be sharing some ideas with her today on Seriously Speaking. You're welcome.
One day, my husband and I were down to our last 1,000 naira. That day, I said to my husband, there's no food for the children to eat when they come back from school. My husband said to me, Ayo, I believe in you. He gave me that 1,000 naira and he said, I know you will multiply it. My husband went off to work and I cried. I said, God, what will this 1,000 naira do for me? I heard God say to me, Ayo, today, go to the market, buy beans. I got to the market and I bought beans and I heard God say, today it is Moin Moin. I made Moin Moin that day. And my sister-in-law paid us a visit in the evening. She entered the house perceiving the aroma of the Moin Moin. And she asked me, Ayo, what's cooking? The first thing that came to my mind was to tell her that it was coming in from the house next door. But I remembered that woman of God, who the man of God went to and said, make a little for me. And she said, all I have is for my son and I to eat and die. Thank God that woman released her little. That day, I said to my sister-in-law, I cooked Moin Moin. Oh, she said, let me taste it. She tasted it and she said, wow, this is nice. Ayo, can you make for me? I said, yes, auntie. How much should I pay you, she said. I said, I made it with 1,000 naira. Without thinking, my sister-in-law, Mrs. Funtoigu, gave me 1,000 naira to make Moin Moin the next day. The next day, I went to the market again, made Moin Moin for her, gave her her bit. I still had a lot more, so I gave to my neighbors in the house. That was how the calls kept pouring in. Who made this Moin Moin? My sister-in-law's friends tasted the Moin Moin and loved it. They asked for my reference, and everybody started calling. Can you please make Moin Moin for us?
Yes, that was the powerful audio I listened to on my WhatsApp group. In fact, it's my old girls group that made me ask my guests to join me in the studio today, because as the year unfolds, people are going to be saying, oh, life is difficult. Life is one thing, life is the other. But listening to my guest, Ayodeji, Megbope, I'm going to welcome her on set right now because, listening to her speak. Ayodeji, please join me on set because I wanted to see you catwalk as well, because it's not enough to have you making those powerful speeches. I wanted to see you catwalk so that people will see that you look good, girl.
Thank you.
You really look good.
Thank you.
And like I said, we are celebrating little beginnings. Is that presumptuous of me to describe you as little beginnings?
Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. I started No Leftovers about 8 years ago.
Was it called No Leftovers?
Yes, No Leftovers from
the
not
beginning.
from day one.
Exactly.
When I started, of course, I didn't have a name. I didn't even know I was going to start a business. I had a need, a serious need. And the need we had in that family was the need to eat, and then just made Moin Moin. And I had my amazing sister-in-law, pay.
She's been on this show before, you know.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Mrs.
yeah.
Funtoigun is a
Yes.
blessing from God.
Yes.
So she paid us a visit and perceived the aroma of the Moin Moin. My first reaction actually was to hide the Moin Moin because it was all we had in the family and I couldn't afford to
I
share
applaud
it.
that, actually, because, I mean, when I listened to that audio, the part he said, and I wanted to hide this Moin because it wasn't enough for us. So that generous spirit, it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. But, you know, I've had such a wonderful relationship with my in-laws, and so that really helped. It made it easier for me to share my bread at that time. And, you know, she tasted it and loved it, and I made for her, on her request, she asked me how much it would cost me, what cost me for her to have some. And I just said 1,000 naira because I spent 1,000 naira.
Why didn't you inflate it?
I didn't think of it. Maybe that part of me that just wants to be there for people, you know, and then she gave some of her friends to taste, and that was how No Leftovers started. But you know, when the real change came was when I had to leave my comfort zone. My comfort zone was family and friends and church, and had to look for a larger market. I didn't know where to go initially, and then it just occurred to me. I just heard God say to me, "Go to your last place of work," and that was very, very humbling. Because when I was leaving, I had friends who said to me, "Don't go anywhere. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. You know, you don't have a university degree. You don't have this." I mean, they cataloged all I did not have.
Okay, I'll cut you there. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you end up not having a university degree?
When I was growing up, I mean, I come from a very, very humble. My mom and dad gave us the best, really. I'm the second of 5 children. And everybody, I mean, my parents believed in education and they gave it to us. Somehow, I had issues. I had issues they were not even aware of.
You describe yourself as the black sheep.
Because I found myself, I was always finding myself in trouble. Yeah, I had all sorts of issues. I went through abuse, sexual abuse. My parents were not aware of it. I mean, I could not even tell them. And they probably would not have believed me. And so I had all those distractions.
So you were just a rascal child, were you?
I really was. Because when I was pregnant with both of my children, I kept praying that, Lord, they must not be the way I was. Because honestly, I was just having all sorts of challenges. And, you know, at 10, I was just playing around. But those abuses had started then.
Family members?
Yes.
Or is that something you want to share now?
Not in detail, because quite a lot has happened since then. I've had those people come to apologize.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, and then they came to apologize when they saw that something good could actually come out of me. I remember being invited to a program. I spoke at the program, and one of them was actually at the program. And he walked up to me, trembling, saying, Ayo, can you just forgive me? I could never have believed you could come out like this. And I just smiled. And that's why I keep saying to people, don't wait for them to come apologize to them.
Okay, so could that have made you the kind of rascal or child that you were? You thought you couldn't do anything. Academically, you were not doing well in school.
It certainly contributed to it because I lost self-esteem. I lost self-esteem. I mean, I was hearing...
You lost self-esteem?
I didn't even... Did I even have it from day one? You know, but
you have it now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I mean, I know my worth. Then I didn't even think I had a worth. Because I constantly was hearing people say to me, you're nothing.
Were you ever called an Olodo?
So many times, I can't even remember
Olodo, by
how
the
many.
way, means somebody who's a dullard.
I heard that so many times. I heard that from my teachers. I heard that from my friends. Once in a while, Mom said that to me, you know. But I knew, you know, sometimes people ask me that, I mean, when all this began to happen, did you feel your mom had offended you in any way? And I said, absolutely not. I mean, she handled me to the best of her knowledge. At that time, of course, I was like, she is not my mother. I remember going to Dad one day and saying to him, Mom, because of course you know how daddies are. Daddies are the soft, the ones that give you the soft landing, and moms are like, you know. And I remember going to my father and say, please, I won't be upset. I know I'm like 17 now, but I really need to know who my mother is. You know, but I just thank God for all those things because I mean, I would have come out worse.